we've been resisting this. So we are trying to stand on the right team. There are some implications.
Let's get this clear. Is it those who are opposed to the bill who are facing these threats, or even those who are pro the bill are also facing the similar threats?
I think it's two-way, like I said. Now we've got two powers here that are interested in this whole process. So I cannot say anyone is safe. I cannot say anyone is safe. You cannot have the whole nation laboring to extend one person's role in office. For me, there's more to it than what meets the eye. There's more to it. I would have accepted the decision whereby we are saying, from 2028 going beyond, let us have 7-year term for presidents and for parliamentarians. It was going to make sense because we would have allowed an election to happen at the prescribed time and then allow others to come in.
And the people will be voting knowing
exactly
that after this will come back
exactly
after 7 years.
But now this arrangement of trying to have the changes now and then the very same changes benefit those who are already in office, it simply means that this bill is being done for those who are in office. It has got nothing to do with the future of this country. It's personal. It's a personal project. That's
best advice I ever got, and it's carried me through so many things. Maya Angelou, who was like a mother, sister friend of mine, said, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. And she told me this because she was saying, baby, people have to show you 29 times. People always show you who they are. And not only do they show you who they are, they come back and they show you again and again and again and again and again. So believe them the first time, and you don't have to pay the price of the 29th time.
Zimbabweans, I genuinely believe that we underestimate the monster that we are dealing with. Because what our parents fought for during the liberation struggle is nothing compared to the damage that Mnangagwa has caused in Zim. Not only that, he is causing, because he is still on a mission to destroy lives. Everything is about him. I also want you to know that ZANU-PF was captured pre-independence by Emmerson Mnangagwa, and he made sure that he destroyed it from within, little by little, spreading gossip, and then people begin to fight among each other. But who was benefiting from the chaos? We can see the man today, he's still unleashing chaos on Zimbabweans. You also need to understand that Mnangagwa may not be the actual problem that we need to face today, but his children. Because I can tell you this, they have started their deception across the country, manipulating people. And it's all about them. Mr. Chigumbu is right. Cap 3 is about Emmerson Mnangagwa. I hope I actually pronounced the name of this guy because some of these guys just mixing their name. Bear with me, please. But it's up to us Zimbabweans, because when people show you who they are, you must believe them the first time. All the times you were promoting Mnangagwa, even after committing such atrocities in the country, you kept promoting him. That is one of the reasons why we are paying a heavy price. And until we understand that life is governed by principles, we continue on this path and we are going absolutely nowhere. Let's look at the comment that was dropped by Fazia Mahere. He said, I don't know whether there is anything worse than the most educated population. It's embarrassing. We need new leaders. I agree with her. Comrade Treasure said, it's irritating. Munyawiri Chayo. Gwaris On said, education iyo was our doom. Robson, we overrate our education, where it disgraces Zimbabweans. We have allowed Madofa Achokita Jano Danis without challenging them. What a pity, useless people on earth. I don't think we are useless. I think we just need a strategy. But what I love is that that's what we are dealing with right now. The Gaza revolution is coming as a strategy to dismantle criminality in the country. I know some people will say, oh, but how much can we trust those that are working behind the scenes? You must remember that if we don't converse or if we continue fighting each other, we will not go anywhere. We need to unite against one common enemy, Mnangagwa and all his criminal structures he built. We have to dismantle them. We do not have a choice. I'm saying we do not have a choice. Anyway, Chiwenga strikes, and every time he strikes, Mnangagwa running for his money. And I must also let you know that for the first time, I'm celebrating Joe Charamba. You will know why. Stick around. It's quite interesting. It's interesting. All right, so the revolution is alive and kicking. I think you guys saw a very scathing message that was sent out last night by Comrade Knox Tuvero, warning parliamentarians, do not mess up with people's lives because some of you pay a heavy price. I want you to know that people are going to regret to ever known the person called Emerson Mnangagwa by these gangs. Okay. Do you also know that the war is started? Muchangwa dismisses Tungwarara. After all the bribes that is playing around with the cash, and that money is our hard-earned money. The money belongs to the taxpayer. Tungwarara can never show you what he has done in life that affords him the lifestyle he's busy displaying. But that's what happens when you are serving a gangster. You are part of gangsterism. You only muzzle on people because you're using the gun. A violence is the gun or poison, whatever it is, because every time there's a new strategy to eliminate those that you believe are against your machinations. It's shameful. I want us to look at the last passage of what Comrade Knox said, because he wrote quite a lot. I'm going to share the link in the description box and comment section as well, so that you guys can read it for yourselves. So let's look at what he said. He said, now to our MPs, do not forget, do not go to parliament tomorrow to vote as if nothing matters. We'll be watching you. Musaenda ku parliament mangwana, munogona kusangana nezu yimwe ikoko. Do not go, and I repeat, do not go. We all know in every war it is inevitable. There are always casualties and even dead bodies, as we witness in our road to the 1980 independence. But why should it be you? Fungaye bana, fungaye mori. There's always tomorrow. The time has come. Usazota unakuyambirwa. Wokoyo. That's very serious there. So if you mess up with people's destinies, you'll be surprised. Zimbabweans are very angry. Do not underestimate people's silence. This Cold War is real. Cold War will always end up proving why people were quiet while they're in pain. Ask those who have been in abusive situations. When you come out as a lion. You've been very nice, hoping that your oppressor will understand and maybe somewhere, somehow, apologize and stop. But if they continue with their fight or continue with the oppression, what do? You turn into a lion and begin to fight for yourself. That's sad. As I mentioned earlier on, I've never celebrated Joe Charamba like the way that I'm going to do today. I want you to stick around in here because he shared a very interesting clip on his timeline. And you know there's been a fight between him and Themba Mliso, which we know that Themba don't just speak. He is Mnangagwa's voice, of course. One thing that has been so interesting about Zim is we are being played by these guys. You find out that Mnangagwa says something different to Themba. He can speak a different story to Kuda, different story to Wikino, Vesmanaru Tendo. But these guys are all working together just to cause chaos. Because the more chaotic Zimbabwe is, the more Mnangagwa survives. Chaos is a weapon that has been used by many criminals for decades or for centuries. So we're going to be listening to this clip before I proceed. Take a listen.
One of the most shocking moments for me personally and for communications team in 2019, 2020 was he was really scared that his ratings started dropping down. And he was sure that communications team was guilty.
Are you looking to start or grow your business in South Africa as a foreign national? Education, research and development consultancy makes it simple and stress-free. From company registration with CIPC to opening your business account, filing your taxes with SARS and handling your annual returns, they got you covered. Local or international, ERDC handles everything so you can focus on what matters most, growing your business. Ready to get started? Contact or WhatsApp the admin at 0027 73 302 1868. 0027 73 302 1868. You can also email the admin at owen.erdc@gmail.com. owen.erdc@gmail.com. The truth is that no one understands the government of Zimbabwe like George Charamba, whether you like it or not. George Charamba worked with Kenani Banana, then he worked with Mugabe, worked with Mnangagwa. That's one of the reasons why I've been saying to George, with all due respect to say, it's time for you to retire. Try something different. Not that you're weak, I know you're very strong, but because keeping yourself in the same spot for far too long, you end up becoming a problem. But I'm not saying that George is a problem. I just want to remind you of what he said actually. The first video I shared on X, that was in 2023. George Charamba responded and said, we made a mistake by left you uncensored. In other words, he was saying to me, we've got the power to silence you. Mr. George, 3 years later, I'm still here. God is with me. No one will be able to silence me because from the first place, no one ever gave me the mouth to speak. I also understand that a closed mouth is a closed destiny. So my mouth is always going to speak truth to power, notwithstanding the circumstances, because I know for sure God will protect me. All right, so you just listened to a clip that George Charamba shared. So he's sending a message. For those that have been paying attention, he has been communicating in redos. He firstly shared a clip where Malema was literally warning Ramaphosa, said that, hey, we told you, don't play these dirty games because there'll be a price to pay, okay? And people kind of, just debate on it. But I think the one that they missed is this, the one that I'm going to deal with now. When he mentioned Tucker Carlson and the chief executive manager of communications under the administration of Zelensky. I think that is a former, yes. You heard what she said. And what is Zelensky said? What does this say to you? He was communicating to Mnangagwa that the arm you have been, weaponizing over the years, which including the propaganda, the lies that we have been wallowing over the years, and also the element of Varakashi, which is another demon from hell. I think I've said it many times. I remember a comment that that is actually Beyond, African Beyond said to me, no, Varakash was always about informing Zimbabweans of the works of Emerson. And I'm like, if you have to convince me as a Zimbabwean that Zimbabwe is working because you have posted something on X, you're sick in your head. I actually know that Zimbabwe is dysfunctional. Okay, when I was in Zimbabwe in 2023, it started by Ora Tambo. Okay, I'm saying it started by Ora Tambo. It was me being asked about the COVID-19, and I was shocked. I'm like, when did we last spoke about COVID-19? The last time I checked, Ramaphosa said the COVID-19 is no longer here. You guys, let's vibe, let's leave. What do you want from me? They're like, yes, your country. And I was shocked even at the airport at Robert Mugabe. Many people were like, what COVID-19 are you talking about? Sorry. They understood what was that for. It was about milking money from citizens. It was already long gone. People are just vibing. Everyone's living their lives, but they're still taking money from people. Manipulation, greed. So I know Zimbabwe is dysfunctional. You don't want to know when I forgot my passport at the airport, what went down. That day I can never forget it. And that's when I knew that this country is dysfunctional. What about in the morning when I was trying to catch my flight at 8 a.m., coming because I had a meeting in the morning? It was even worse. The traffic. I honor and salute couples who work in Zimbabwe. Because I can only imagine what happens. You come back home late, you wake up early in the morning. Are you surprised why divorces are increasing? Let us not underestimate the power of living in a functional country. Most of our challenges that we're facing today are being initiated by the gangs that Mnangagwa created. We underestimate the demon we are dealing with. All right, now let's look at the characteristics of Hitler, because I want this one to be to be embedded in us. Because then we'll be able to understand if we don't fight this demon, things can get very bad, brothers and sisters. I did pull out some information. I must say thank you to George because I'd never really studied Hitler that much. I remember when I studied him during my time at high school, know the history, but it wasn't really like, you know what I mean? I mean, the academia has been manipulated, and we all know it's about conditioning people. Now, let's look at the characteristics of that propaganda arm of Hitler. I'm going to put some information there. I want you guys to follow my readings, please. Very important. So Adolf Hitler's primary arm of propaganda was the Reich Ministry of Public Enlightenment and Propaganda, headed by his loyal minister, Joseph Goebbels, established in 1933. This apparatus strictly centralized and controlled the press, radio, film, theater, and fine arts to manipulate public opinion and enforce ideological conformity. The propaganda machinery, the people's receiver. Goebbels mass-produced a cheap, affordable radios. These were placed in homes, factories, and public squares so Hitler's speeches could blanket the nation continuously. Visual spectacle. Mastermind events like the annual Nuremberg rallies. They utilized matches, synchronized banners, floodlights, the swastika to inspire awe and a sense of collective power. Film and press outlets like Goebbels' own newspaper produced newsreels were used to saturate the country with easily digestible, highly biased imaginary and messaging. Youth indoctrination. Pay attention. The Hitler Youth and the League of German Girls brainwashed the next generation by fusing education with the Nazi ideology. Yebet School of Ideology. Core characteristics of Nazi propaganda. The cult of personality. Propaganda meticulously crafted a mythology around Hitler. He was portrayed as the infallible savior and messiah destined to rescue Germany from the humiliation of World War I and economic ruin. Simplicity and repetition. Hitler received in the big lie theory the idea that people are more likely to believe a colossal falsehood if it is repeated constantly and forcefully. Slogans were short, punch and memorable. Emotional appeal over logic. Instead of complex intellectual arguments, complaints targeted the public's baser emotions, specifically their hopes, economic anxieties, prejudice, and grievances. Scapegoating and the other. Propaganda deeply rooted the concept of pure people's community. It deliberately demonized Jews, communists, and other groups, blaming them for all the Germans' domestic and international struggles. The opposition. Everyone who disagrees with Mnangagwa is an enemy of the people. Inseparable from terror, Nazi propaganda did not rely solely on persuasion. It was paired with the threat of violence and concentration camps by the SS and Gestapo to silence dissent and force compliance. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar? All right. That's exactly Emerson Mnangagwa's machination in Zim. That's his modus operandi. He just went in and then copied Hitler's machination and then pasted it on Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa is the Hitler of our time. He kills with impunity. He steals with impunity. People are afraid of him, mainly in ZANU-PF. Are afraid anyone who speaks against him pays a heavy price. And this did not only start now, it started in the 80s. How many ZANU-PF people that were killed in ZANU-PF? Stupid accidents or orchestrated accidents. The guy's been playing this game long enough. I'm saying this because I want to remind you Zimbabweans what we are dealing with. That is not even about politics at all. The thing is, we're underestimating our fight to politics. It's not politics. It's bigger than what you see. That is why unity is so important. Our challenge is that every time we fight for freedom, we put our needs or interests first, not the country. But what we don't know is that if we put Zimbabwe first, we automatically have everything that we need or we want as well. I mentioned to someone that the challenge for Zimbabwe is that we put politics before leadership. It has to be leadership before politics. So Zimbabwe is more important than any politician who come from any family, who may have any interest. We don't care about that. We care about the function of our society. But today, our children are dragged. It's intentional. So when I say Mnangagwa is done worse than what our parents fought for, I mean business. So any Zimbabwean who's sitting relaxed, who doesn't even see what we are in trouble. And I'm referring to those even who are in high offices, maybe in big companies like Vana, Discovery, Marine Roberts, and which left Investec, huge companies, F&B, all of you, no one is safe. So don't even think that you are safe at all. You are not. Because if your child has to be dragged, that becomes problematic. Your marriage can collapse when your child is a drug addict. It's actually very heartbreaking that even those that have lost a lot, Zimbabweans, are also being dumped drug addiction in their homes. They can't feed themselves. Now a child is a drug addict. Can you only imagine the kind of hell that people are living in Zim? The hospitals are dysfunctional. In fact, people are discussing today about the minimum wage for maids, $90. It's shocking. But he loves that because that's how he survives. I was laughing with someone. I'm like, Mnangagwa talks to all these guys. I'm talking about these gangs. But you can see sometimes they fight on social media. That's how he survives. He turns them against each other. And he's been doing it. And we are not smart enough to see what we are being used. Fighting against each other. Beating the opposition. He's been unleashing hell there. It was him. Because that's how he survives. And it's time for us to look squarely in his eyes and tell him to say, you're not clever. I told you for the past 3 years I've been studying him. I've said it and I repeat again. Very soon you will know what is Zarnanyanga. Achikisa Mnangagwa. Ndi muri kutozvityisa mega. He's not as powerful as you think he is. He's only as powerful as the gangs that kill, abduct, and torture on his behalf. Otherwise, himself is a coward. The fact that he fails to face citizens head on, that's where his cowardice lies. He's the same person who can't even face citizens. He can't face them. He's afraid of you. We should never be played. So this war propaganda you are seeing today is intentional. You'll be shocked to know that the daughters went to Chikrubi to preach Jesus. Are you looking at that video there? Yeah, they went to go and preach Jesus. I've told you recently, actually, the other daughters on social media, praying for men. I want to pray for your mental health. Pray for my mental health when you're the cause of the chaos in the country. What are you praying for? Go talk to your daddy. Preach Jesus to him before you come to us. If that Jesus cannot work in your family, is not worth transporting, Mama. And I'm speaking to Leah. You can't deceive us using the Bible. Because we speak to God. We hear him speak. You cannot preach the Jesus that can help you in your own house. If that Jesus cannot turn the life of Emmerson Mnangagwa, it's not worth transporting. Mama, preach first to your father. You want to see him in paradise before you deceive Zimbabweans. Because we are smarter than you can ever think. What about Tatenda Mavetera? Take a look.
Kawane mota pano yechikomba West Driving School. Amen. Vana vese munhu wese anoda kutora chitambi unongouya woita maleseni mahara nemota yedu inechikomba West. Chako chete kutsvaga provisional license. Watsaga kudaro imota iripo inofamba ma different wards council and vanenge vachigadziridza pamwe chete noutungamiri. Mota inouya munhu ouya wodzidzira adaro nekunyema lesson ndo yanga ichinetsa. Saka taona chega ichita kuti mota iuye vanhu vese vakwanise kuva vachidzidza. Haleluya. Pane ane chikuyanyopisa. Tichaona na vhiki rinouya. Tichaona na time inotevera.
Respect Joe Charamba. There. Hitler at work. How do you give people free licenses to do what? To drive which car? From where? Musa tikujairirwa na Emmerson Mnangagwa. Arikutijairira. And I'm serious. But anyway, I want you to know that Chiwenga striked Let's look at what he said. He warned Mnangagwa's gangs, Murikidza Ngoma Nedemo, while sitting on a sword. How many people remember that book called Murikidza Ngoma Nedemo? Do you remember it? A novel. Actually, my sister read it. I think that was in high school. Yes. Let's look at what he said. Very important. ED loyalists panic as Chiwenga strikes. Right now, we have no choice. We have to support Chiwenga and the military to come out of this mess. We don't have a choice at all. Do we have any? Let's look at what he said. Vice President Constantino Chiwenga's combative warnings against President Emerson Mnangagwa's loyalists who are pushing controversial amendments to the constitution have left the camp in panic mode and slowed down the process to hand the 83-year-old 2 more years in power. Initially, the ZANU-PF faction, whose public face is now Justice Minister Ziyambi, tracked the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, Cap 3, but the process has been pegged back by almost 2 weeks after pressure started building from opponents of the proposed amendments. Chiwenga last week issued a chilling warning when he told mourners in Ngonde Valley that some people were beating a drum with an axe while sitting on a spear. A ZANU-PF Politburo member told the Standard that the VP's warning and alleged mobilization of soldiers at various Harare military barracks against Cap 3 were among the major reasons why the National Assembly did not vote on the bill on Friday as previously announced. The MPs are now expected to vote on Tuesday when the House resumes its sitting, but some legislators said they were worried about their security. A senior ZANU-PF official who spoke on condition of anonymity said there were possibilities that the voting could even be pushed to Thursday as Mnangagwa's loyalists continue to assess the security situation. Chiwenga is using different events to air his views. We have been asking ourselves in our corridors what is going to happen next week. The Politburo member said, we are left guessing in politics, anything can happen. And I also want you to know that no one understands Mnangagwa like Chiwenga, because Mnangagwa and Chiwenga worked hand on hand, very close for many years. I think you guys remember the time that Mutambara said he went to Mugabe's office and Mnangagwa blocked him. Show me a country where you have an appointment with the president and a citizen decide to block you. That's when I say to you, Mugabe was captured long time ago by Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa took an advantage of the respect Mugabe had for him. It makes sense when you employ people who are not qualified for the job. They start thinking they are bigger than the job itself, or you. Because all they do is using scheming. Scheming is a deadly it's a deadly machination. It's dangerous. Because if you start by scheming, you're going to have to scheme to remain there. Because there's no any other way you can survive. That's why for me, I believe that principles reign supreme. When you start right, you're always going to find it easy and work at peace because everything that you're doing is right. You don't have to look who's against me, who says what. You're focusing on delivering. And the day we are going to realize that we are simply cheating ourselves by continuing hating each other unnecessarily. At the end of the day, billions are leaving the country. Chinese people are building their country where we are fighting. We're like kids who were left with a lot of money, but they are fighting and neighbors are taking everything that their parents left. We need to introspect as Zimbabweans. Look how we are being played. Openly so. I'm conscientizing people to say, look, we are dealing with Hitler here. It's what we are dealing with. What did they do for them to overcome? Is what we need to discuss. Not to say I want a position. Because some of you not up elections in a country that is so dysfunctional like Zim. If you talk of elections, you don't love the country, do you? You really don't. Do you think a criminal will give you election? You confront a criminal. There's no criminal that will give you your country on a silver platter. You know, this time around, I'm always thinking about Mkwananzi. I wish we had Mkwananzi in Zim. He could have finished most of these criminals. We could have already met their maker a long time ago. That's what happens when you deal with men who love their country, not the positions. Someone tried to push him to be the president. He was like, no, I'm not a politician. I'm a policeman. I'm going to deal with criminals. God, we deserve men like that in Zimbabwe, don't we? You tell me what you think in the comment section. I want to hear your thoughts. At the end of the day, 2030 will not see the light of day. The ground is shaking and Mnangagwa will leave soon. I love you guys. God bless you and God bless Zimbabwe. Bye for now.